Hey everybody, my name is Jen. This is Jen Geigley Knits. We have been having a super busy week, busier than normal. So many things happening, so many things going on. But I'm also heading out for a long weekend in Kansas City. I'm going to another sock knitting crank-in. So I'm packing up all my stuff again, packing up my Dean & Bean knitting machine. And in a bit, I'll show you when I actually pack, I'll show you everything I'm taking with me. But this crank-in is Dean & Bean specific. So it is hosted by the owners of the Dean & Bean company, and it's a whole family. It's everyone who creates the machine, everyone in the family is involved. So they all come and they teach workshops, and we knit socks from beginning to end and make a whole pair of socks like right off the bat. We all sit and do it together. And then there's like breakout rooms where you can go and learn new things, or there's a room where you can just stay and work. And so it's really fun. This will be my second year attending, and I'm super excited to go back because now I have a year of knitting machine experience under my belt. So I feel like I know a little bit more about what's going on, which is exciting, and maybe I can get some more done than last year. It's not about how much you get done, it's about how much you learn too. But I'm super excited to go back. It's a really fun event. They also offer a few machines that people can rent, like for people that just want to try it out for a weekend, or people that already have other knitting machines but haven't tried a Dean & Bean yet, which is a really nice option, I think, to kind of get into it with people helping you all around you, which is, it's really cool. It's too late to sign up for that now. I think it's like too close to the event. So you can't just like show up and join us. But I am super excited about this crank-in. I'll have a video next week kind of as a recap. And I just think back to last year when I went and I had no idea. I knew a little bit of what I was doing, but I was still very new. And I just learned so much every time I go to one of these events, especially the Dean & Bean ones, because they know every in and out of the machine. They know every little part. They know every little thing you're gonna run into. Every tip, every trick, like all these different things to make like mock ribbing. They can do color work. Like there's all these things that I have not ever attempted. They also sell ribbers, which is another thing. I don't have a ribber yet for my machine, but I'm thinking about it because then you can make ribbed socks, which is very exciting. So I'm super excited to get everything packed up and head out for a little weekend away in Kansas City. And as much as I hate, like I don't like leaving my family and my kids, I love being here all the time. It is sometimes nice to step away and do something just that I'm interested in. You know, I think it's a healthy balance. My husband and I both try to do that, and like we do all of our things together and family vacations together and do our own stuff all the time. But like he'll go snowboarding and I'll go to a knitting thing. And I think it's just like a healthy balance to kind of do things for yourself too. And especially as a busy mom of kids of any age, it's good to kind of take a breather, go on a little road trip, and yeah, just kind of get out of town for a bit, stay in a hotel, sleep through the whole night. So I'm really looking forward to this, like a lot, like packing some snacks. I love it. I love a knitting retreat. I love a crank-in. This is like my new favorite thing to do. So I know I'm going to learn a lot. I know I'm going to make some socks, but first I found this bag of happiness tucked into my sock knitting supply pile downstairs. And this reminded me of the last retreat I went to, which was recently, was it in February? It was just a bit ago. And it's the one that's closer to my home. And it's not just Dean & Bean, it's all machines. But I came across this bag of sock tubes that I had made that weekend that I had figured that I would just finish up real quick. So I've got some toes, some cuffs, and heels. I can make all that on the machine, and sometimes I do, but this is the pile that I just did tubes, and I'm adding them by hand, the rest of the parts. So my goal is to finish this pile before I go to this retreat. So I actually have some finished socks that I can wear, like with Birkenstocks, to this retreat, because you want to show off your work. And I don't want to add more to this pile. I need to finish up this and then do all the new socks. So let's just look and see what I have in here. This is a finished sock. Okay, this one's done and this one's almost done. So I just need a toe and a heel, and this will be a good pair. I think Bowie asked for these, so he will get these. It's funny because I used to have measurements for my kids' feet when they were younger, and they quickly all caught up, and now we're almost all the same foot size. Lotus and I are exactly the same, which is so nice because we can share shoes. And then Bowie is just behind us a tiny bit. So really I can make the same size sock for all three of us, which is really nice. But I've never made any for my husband. So maybe on this weekend away, I'll make him a pair because I have a larger cylinder. So the D&B machines come with different size cylinders that you can insert. You just have to change out the needles each time. And so you can do like a 60 or like a 72. There's a 50 something. There's like different size cylinders to make a different circumference. So I really do need to make something for my husband because then we'll all have some. But these are Bowie's. This was going to be Lotus's. I've got a rainbow pair to do. I'll have to find the other one that matches this. This is a tube that I haven't done anything to yet, but that'll be like a nice longer pair with a longer leg. And this is Kay Fassett, his awesome stripes. And this matches the shot cotton that I saw on his quilts at the Quilt Museum. And that's what this makes me think of. It makes me think of my little excursion with Kay Gardner and our trip to see the cave quilts. So I'm gonna make some cave socks with this one. And there's another tube. This is that really nice Lion brand that I love. And this is called Rock Candy, I think. It's like a purpley gray with my favorite chartreuse yellow mixed in. And that's another nice long pair that could be with a longer leg. And when you add in the afterthought heel, it's like you need like at least that much, but you can have a bit more because I'm gonna knit the cuff, which adds that much, the toe, which adds that much. So you don't need it as long as you think you will. And then the heel sticks out the back. So it's like kind of deceiving when you have to do your measurements. You really have to use the formulas. I talked about it in another sock knitting video that I did. There is a really good formula to get your foot size down to the inches, and then the leg, the inches of that, and then the toe and the heel. There's a formula to use to make sure you get it right and so that they always fit. And I've really perfected that finally after some trial and error. It matters with your gauge too, because there's different gauge settings on knitting machines. So you have to factor in all those things. And it's not a bad idea to do a swatch on the machine too, because all the yarns knit up differently. Like this is the Knit Picks Felici, and it knits up a little bit looser, I think. And then these are Opal, which knits a little tighter in my experience. So I made a little cheat sheet for different yarns and how they knit on my machine and how many rows to do. So this pair's done. I'm impressed with myself. I did finish this pair. This was in the Bag of Happiness. This is Opal yarn, kind of a multicolored with yellow, but it's really fun. I love how Opal sock yarn wears. I have some that I've made with this yarn that I just throw in the wash and dryer normally, and they've been fine. So I love how like low maintenance they are, and they're really fun colors, and they just feel nice to wear. So one pair is done. Two of these tubes that need to be completely split, and then toe, heel, cuff. Somewhere, see, I'm missing some socks. This had a different sock with it. This is another Bowie pair that has not, I think I've got one finished sock in a different bag. I need to get it together and go look through all that stuff and figure out where I threw things. This one has to be done, but I got the needles on it, so that's a good start. And then another tube. This is my favorite yarn, and they don't make it anymore. This is Lion brand. It's like called Lemon Drop or Lemon something. And it has like neon yellow, olive, and like a sunshiny yellow. And I love this sock yarn. I really wish they would bring this back. I love this. So this is like my one precious tube of it. And then I saved some to knit the extra parts. So I need to do that one. I have a lot to do. And then this one. So this is done and ready for just the heel. So this is, yeah, this one's ready to go except for the heel. And then this will be the second. So that's like a lot to work on. We'll see. I'm probably not going to get through all of it before I leave, but it'd be cool to get a couple pairs done. It doesn't take that long if I just sit down and buckle down and do it. Like if I put on a movie at night and just work through some, like do all the cuffs, then do all the toes, then all the heels. You have to go in order. So you're not like putting the heel in the wrong place. But anyway, that's what I need to do before I go to Kansas City, along with my other knitting projects. So I am at a really fun stopping point on my Crowberry. And so I thought I'd make a video before I move on to the next step with this, because it's like at a great spot to talk about something. So I got this far on my color work. I got the little crowberries put in, which are the little baubles. And I remember looking at, there was a story on the Modern Daily Knitting blog. This is a Modern Daily Knitting pattern from their field guide called Moss that I've talked about many a time. But they do blog posts every day, all different things. Like sometimes they'll talk about what they're making right now, or sometimes it's knitting tips and tricks. Sometimes they have something called Knit to This, which is like something really good on the internet or on TV that you can watch while you're knitting, just the suggestions and all kinds of stuff. So if you don't follow the Modern Daily Knitting blog or get their email updates, they have like a newsletter. You should sign up for that because it's my favorite knitting content in the whole internet. It's the best. So anyway, Anne was talking about knitting her Crowberry, and she did different colors, but she was working on it like me a little bit late after the knit along in March. They have the Bang Out the Sweater knit along. And she was saying it feels kind of funny as you go through this color work that the baubles look weird as you're doing them. And she was right. So I'm glad I read this, because I was kind of freaking out about like not liking them as I was doing them. Because baubles are weird anyway, but it's just kind of in the middle of these little branchy things. And I was like, does this look right? And do these baubles look ugly? And do I hate them? And do I want to make them different, or do I not want to do them at all? But then she was like, trust the process. And it was totally one of those situations where you just trust it. And then once you get a few rows beyond, they all look like little berries on the branch like they should. And they're totally fine. There's nothing weird about them. They look great. I love the little baubles. They're very cool. And so there's like 3 more sections of this pattern that go up to the neck that are next. And so I was talking in the comments last week about the Crowberry with someone else who had already made one, and they had like jumped ahead and made theirs in February to get ahead of the March. They couldn't even wait. But they loved making this sweater. And I think your name is Carrie or Kari, and I don't know which one. I have friends that say it both ways, that's spelled like your name. So anyway, thank you for commenting, because Carrie or Kari shared their Crowberry. They were like, go look at mine on Ravelry. It's this one. And I went and found it. And here's the picture so you can know what I'm talking about. So of course I went and looked right away, and Carrie or Kari said that they used multicolored yarns in the yoke. Like right now I'm using 3 colors in the yoke. I'm using a dark, the berry color, then the darker green for the leaf, and then the gold green for the background. And she said she was using a bunch of colors because she was using some stashed Lopi and had some different amounts of each color. So, and her colors are so cool, don't you think, from the picture? With the turquoise and that grayish background, and then the mix of colors in between. But the interesting thing about her Crowberry, because I'll show you the original so you can see that too. She split the yoke up into different sections. So this is the original. Like you use these colors that I'm kind of using-ish, 3 repeats of that, and then go up to the orange. So she mixed it up in here and used a different color combo in this middle one. And I think that is what I'm gonna do, because remember I had all those different greens and I couldn't decide which greens to use. And I really am still loving this one. It's called Celery. Right now I'm using these two, but I thought, let me mix in this one because Carrie or Kari did. I'm sorry, I'm saying your name wrong every time. I love the bigger mix of colors in hers. And so my next section of this, I'm gonna use this as the background with continuing with this leaf pattern color. So, and then I'll come back to this gold green for the third one. So then I'm just mixing in one more green, and I think it'll add a little bit more interest and mossiness to that section. So the next section I'm gonna work on will be these two, and then back to these two. And I think that's gonna look cool. So thank you to everybody who comments, because I read everything, and you always have such wise pieces of advice or things to look at on Ravelry or whatever it is, or things you've made. So yes, I looked at your Crowberry, I loved it, like so much. Your colors are so good. And then you gave me the idea to mix up this section a little bit and not just keep repeating these colors, and getting to use my other green, which makes me so happy. And so I'm gonna start that now because the next row is this color. So I'm gonna see how this looks and show you how it turns out in a bit. In case you're interested, I'm gonna show you really quickly what I'm packing up for the crank-in. I've gone over this before in depth, and so I'm gonna make this one a quick one, but really I just wanna show you the yarn I'm bringing, so I'll go into that a little bit more than I usually do. But it is good to know, if you're thinking about getting into sock machine knitting, it's not just the sock machine. You need a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm talking like I have 3 big bags of things that you really have to bring with you, especially since I'm heading out of town with this stuff and I can't just run home and go pick something up if I forgot it. It takes a lot of supplies and a lot of things. And so you just kind of have to know that going into it, but it's so much fun. Like, we're all very hooked on it. I love it so much. It's totally worth it. My machine, I ordered a package that came with all this stuff. So really you just add a few more things and then yarn, and then you've got the whole thing. But first off, I just take my machine in this nice little bin that fits it perfectly. I put a little bubble wrap in there so nothing slides around in the car. And that's just to protect it a little bit. This is a 3D printed machine. I can show it to you. I'm sure you've seen it here before if you've been here before, but in case you haven't, I have a yellow Dean & Bean knitting machine. These are the clamps that holds it to the table. The retreat I'm going to is really nice because they provide tables for you. Otherwise, you have to bring your own little sock knitting machine table, because some places don't have enough tables for everyone, but this one does. So that's really nice coming from out of town. Makes it a lot easier. This is my yarn mast. It's a little weight. All 3D printed, all so beautiful. You know, if you know me, you know I love yellow, and that was like an easy choice when you get to pick your color. And of course I picked yellow under the bubble wrap. This is the machine itself. And it's really nice and lightweight, especially if you've seen like an Erlbacher or a metal machine. They're very heavy and big and have like a big box you have to put them in. This is very light and easy to transport, so I love taking it to things like this where it's really easy to throw it in your car. Not throw it, place it gently in your car. You don't want to mess anything up, but this is the machine itself. It has a crank, it has 2 little caddies here for all your tools and supplies and your scissors and stuff. The yarn mask just goes in like this, and this goes on top. There's a little thing that holds a light, which I'll show you in a minute. But that's how easy it is to assemble. So that's the machine itself. And the yarn feeds through here, back to here. There's a little heel spring here to put a little tension when you make a heel. And then these clamps hold into these holes onto the table to secure it. And that's seriously all it is. It's amazing. There's a lot to it. I mean, it's more than that, but that's the machine itself. What was I gonna say next? That's the machine itself. It's very easy to take it apart and put it back in the crate like that. The ease of this is part of the appeal of this machine for me, is that it's lightweight, it's easy to set up, it's easy to take apart, like in my house or taking it somewhere. So I really enjoy that about this machine. And it's yellow. At the last retreat I went to, which was the local one that wasn't Dean and Bean specific, they gave us as a like a door prize for everyone, one of these folding crates to put in your car, which is such a nice gift. And so this like has handles, and so you can put like your machine in here or all your other stuff to put in your trunk and keep it like secure. And this is like the smartest thing, and I think I might keep this in my trunk all the time, even for groceries and stuff. And then we just have the basic stuff. You have to have cardboard cones that you have to wind your yarn onto before you begin, because the tension has to be really even. There can't be anything pulling on the yarn. And so whatever yarn I pick out of my bags that I'll show you in a minute, I will have to wind it onto these first so it's ready to go when I get there. I don't have to mess with it. I use a drill and this attachment, which goes in the cone, and then this spins so I can hold the yarn, spin it onto the cone, and then it's ready to go. I also have some other clamps in case my clamps that come with the machine don't work with the table. These are really strong ones and they hold the machine really tightly so nothing will slip off or fall off or like rock. You need lubricant made for it's like a dry lubricant that you can spray that won't hurt the 3D printed machine. That's a big important thing to have. Ravel cord, which helps when you're using waste yarn, you use ravel cord and then you pull it and it separates really nicely. It's kind of waxed, almost like a dental floss. That's nice to have. I always take my Java sock. Have you seen these things? It's like a koozie for your iced coffee and keeps it cold. I think it keeps it hot too, but I think it's for cold drinks. I love this thing and I plan on having iced coffee to keep my momentum going. And I have a pouch with all my small supplies in it. I won't go too crazy, but you need a scissors, a pen. This is my lift, crank, lower reminder thingy that you put on top of your machine to remind you where you are in the process of your sock. Tape measure, this little clamp that you put underneath your weight on the tube of your knitting so it holds it down with some tension. Notebook, this has all my little notes about like how many rounds do I like for a 6-inch leg? How many rounds do I want for an 8.5 size foot? Like all the things. And I write down in different yarns. If I experiment with tension or different yarns and they knit up differently, I put that in here in case I buy the same brand again, and then I don't have to trial and error everything. Ravel cord, stitch markers. These help mark when you're gonna do your, like if you knit the whole sock on the machine, you have to mark the corners of your toes so that when you do Kitchener stitch, you can see where it lines up and where to start. We have all these little tools. These are the most used thing with a sock knitting machine. And there's the third one. These little latch tools and hook tools help pull up your stitches and fix things and undo things and all kinds of things. It's like the most useful thing to have. A little acrylic ruler, more pens, the little half crescent thing. This lifts up stitches for heels and toes, which is really useful. And then this is my best Addy little hook. I use this for everything too. It's just a great tool. It looks like a dental tool, but it's like the best for picking up stitches and stuff like that. That's pretty much all I have in here. Just some little like sewing needles. The little clip weights you can clip onto your stitches and hold things down a little bit. But that's pretty much it for the small stuff. And then sometimes I bring a cup holder to stick onto the table too. I usually use this with my own table if I'm bringing my own table, but this will hold your cup so it's off the table and not gonna spill, because that's terrible. And then all the weights. So these, we need these kind of weights, and then the soft weights. These are the heel forks. And you need all that. And then Dean & Bean sells this specific light that clips onto that yellow yarn mast and then illuminates your stuff really nicely. It still might have a charge, yeah, like a ring light. But you know, it's really tiny stitches and you're looking at things that are really small. And so this is like really, really nice to have, and a nice long cord, because at these crank-ins, they kind of hook you up at different tables with electricity. It's like they're prepared for everything, and it's so much fun and it's so nice. But this is really nice to have, so you can see what you're doing. And then my trusty Trapper Keeper. This is also where I keep all my notes. Any handouts from classes they have, or they have like little breakout sessions, I keep all the handouts in here. Any paper patterns I come across, because there's different patterns for different socks. There's like shorty socks you can make. There's socks with a fake mock rib. There's all kinds of things. And the people at Dean & Bean have written patterns too that I'm excited to see at this retreat that have like some different things other than socks. So I keep all that stuff in here and any other notes I have. That is basically what I bring with me. Yeah, I just pack it all into a bunch of tote bags and then put it in that little black crate thing. Then I have my machine, and that is it. So it's really not that much, but you just don't want to leave anything behind. And I do have a checklist that I check with every time, especially when I'm going out of town, to make sure I don't leave anything behind and then, you know, something you need you don't have. But the yarn, this is the fun part. I have a nice little collection of sock yarn that I'm working my way through, and the sock machine really helps me get a lot more done. So that's kind of the goal. But I got some Felicini. There's Felici from Knit Picks with my wider stripes. It looks like this, which I'm sure you're probably familiar with. This is a really popular yarn. It makes really nice wide stripes like those socks I made for Bowie. But now they have Felicini with littler stripes that I haven't tried yet. But this is like something like the farmer's market or a garden vegetable color. Let's say produce aisle. That's what I'm thinking. That's so fun. There's like a blue-green one called Nessie. And so I picked up a few of these. What's this one? Shrooms. So I want to see those smaller stripes. And I love, this is another one that wears really nice. It's the Knit Picks Felici and Felicini. It knits up really nice, whether you're doing it by hand or machine. And then I did collect some of the sock ease. I talked about this. This is Lion Brand sock ease that they used to make years ago, and then they stopped making it. And that was my other tubes, the yellow that I really like and my rock candy grayish purple one. It said on the website, for a limited time, I think it even says it on the label, for a limited time only, sock ease is back. And so it's different colors. And so I got a couple of these too, because I really like this yarn. Here's another one. I really like this one. Say the names of these. Sidecar. That's really pretty. I really like these colors. This one's called, this is From the Vault. Aviation. And this one, Mai Tai. So these are super affordable, but they make really good socks. Then I got a neon skein of opal. I love opal. I think I mentioned this before. I have no hand knit neon socks, so that is gonna change. I'm gonna make a pair of those and all of these yarns. So I'm gonna like pick through these, my favorites, and actually wind them on the cones because they're useless like this. I cannot sock machine knit from this. So I'm gonna pick my favorites, wind them onto cones, and I'll bring some extras because I'll have empty cones every time I make more. And they have a winder there too, and I'll bring my drill so I can keep going, but I need some to start with, so I'm gonna pick out my favorites. Then I have some sock sets that I've just been holding on to. This is from Chameleon. My friend Erica makes this locally. This is the Hugh Loco Coffee House collection, which I think I won this as a prize, which is so lucky, and it's very beautiful. So I've got things like this where I can make a contrast heel, cuff, and toe. So that's fun because I can wind that onto cones, or I could hand knit the contrast myself. This is another Chameleon I had laying around. This is another, oh, this is opal. So I've been stashing this. This is not all like a recent purchase or anything. This is like from my sock bin where I like have collected for a long time. But this is the opal Vincent van Gogh, one of the collections. So they based these on his different paintings. I think there's like a Starry Night. There's a bunch of them. So this is really, really fun. And I had to get one of these. I might have a couple of these, but maybe, I don't know. Anyway, this is like some really beautiful colors from that painting. Oh, I have more Felicini with the fine stripes. This one's different, just a little bit different than this one. This is called Sunday Day Game. And then, oh gosh, I must have caught a sale because I got a bunch of this. Bowling alley. Look, it's like roller skate carpet, bowling alley carpet. That's fun. And this is like a lighter, what's this one called? Martini. Some fun colors in there. And then I have a sock set from Rhinebeck from Yarnaceous Fibers. This was like, what's this called? This had a funny name that resonated with that day. It's Raining Dinos. If you're at Rhinebeck, it rained the whole time. So this is like my commemorative yarn. It's Raining Dinos. And then, what is this? Nomadic Yarns. I forgot. I stashed this away. Look how beautiful. This is a self-striping as well. I love Nomadic Yarns. This is always like, treat yourself. Something, I don't know. I bought this a while ago. That's beautiful. And that's gonna self-stripe. Here's another, these are two more sock sets from Lavender Loon, so I can make a contrast heel and toe. These are beautiful and could like mix and match, or I could make a stripy set, because you can do stripes on the machine. I'll have to think about that one, because they really go nicely together. Like these purpley with that gold. Ooh, that's really nice. And then there's one more Sockies. I think with the limited edition, it just got me because I really like the feel. It's wool. It's like a wool blend. I love how this feels. Yeah, 75% wool, 25% nylon, which isn't like uncommon, but the way this Lion Brand sock yarn feels on my foot is just really nice. This one is called Last Word. So like some pinky purples with like an orange and then a bluish teal. Interesting combo. So, and then I'm not done. It's embarrassing, but I mean, I have collected Felici, this is terrible, for a long time. Years. This is years of Felici stashing. This almost looks like a Halloween one. It's called Speed Racer. Look how fun that is. That is so different. So all the Felici self-stripes into those thicker stripes. This is a really pretty pink, gray, orange, yellow, Endless Summer. Like that's super Taylor Swifty actually to me. Let's see. I won't go through all these. This one I don't have a label. Usually I buy two of each because that makes a good set. But yeah, I think you can get a pair of shorties out of one if I don't have a match for that. This one is called Side Pony. That's super fun. This one is called Animal Cookies. That's lovely. We got two of this one called Seven Seas. This is years, I promise you, this is not one purchase. This is years of me stashing, thinking I was gonna hand knit all of this. And that is a big factor in why I got a knitting machine, because it got out of control. But it's so affordable too. The Felici from Knit Picks, all of Knit Picks yarn is like, you know, budget friendly, but it's really nice. This beautiful blue is called Whale Song. That's really nice. These are so pretty. And then, oh, this is fun. Test pattern. Test pattern. I don't have too much left. Thunderstruck. That's an AC/DC song. That's funny. I love yarn names, like especially these oddball ones. Like I was thinking like beach or something summery. It's Thunderstruck. Okay, last two. I swear. These look like the other one. Summer Camp. Those are so cute with like a neon yellow. Okay, so that's all. But these are nice. Like you can peel off a couple, not peel, but like unwind, like usually 2 to 3 stripes worth will get you a toe and a heel and a cuff. And so 2 skeins make a really nice, like solid sock set. Striped, not solid, but you know what I mean. Anyway, that's kind of the yarn I'm gonna go through to pick out what I'm gonna take with me and what I'm gonna pre-wind, and then I might just bring it all. That's what I usually do. It's in my car, I'm not flying, so I have the luxury of putting a bag of this in my trunk, and then whatever I feel like I'm in the mood for, I can go to the car and grab more, wind more as I go. And so that is my plan for the crank-in this weekend. I went ahead and laid out all the yarn on my couch so I can kind of look through everything and pick out my favorites so that I can wind and get that ready to go. And then I'll just bring everything else in a bag, because it's just like any other knitting trip or any time you're traveling. You bring way too much. You know it's not possible to knit everything you're bringing, but you want to have the options, and so I don't feel bad bringing all of it. And with a machine, you honestly can crank through more than you think you might, especially when I just do the sock tubes. I mean, you just crank those suckers out and you can get through a lot of skeins of yarn. It just depends on if I want to do the heel and toe and everything on the machine, which I'll do some, and then I will crank some tubes so I can do certain things by hand. Especially the contrast ones, I do like to do those by hand and have my special heel and my special cuff that's ribbed, you know, and do that all separately. And then I'll of course bring my hand knitting tools and my hand knitting my DPNs, especially for the hotel at night or when we're hanging out. You know, you can't crank for the whole weekend. It's exhausting. And it's a lot of like brain power, and you're looking at tiny things and you're like, your eyes get tired. Honestly, like by the end of the night, we're all kind of exhausted. And so that's the time to like get out the hand knitting and work on some of the heels and toes and stuff. So I'll bring that as well. It's just going to be really fun to have time designated for this. And I always meet new friends, and there are a few people that I know are coming back from last year that I hung out with. So I'm looking forward to that. I just can't wait to get there. So that is what I'm doing now. So I'm going to pack, I'm going to look through the yarn, wind, get everything settled and ready to go, and then pack my clothes. Okay, it's a different day. It's a new day. I am packing for Kansas City. I'm leaving very, very soon, but I thought I would check in one more time because I have made some sweater progress. And Dinah thought she would help me because she's a really good helper. And I just wanted to share these sweaters before I leave. I'm pretty much ready for my trip. I just packed my suitcase, like threw some clothes in a bag, shoes, toiletries. It's going to be in the 80s in Kansas City this weekend, which is much warmer than it's been here. And so it's also going to be possibly severe weather the entire time. So I really have to watch the forecast so I'm not driving through tornadoes or hail or anything. So that's going to be interesting, but I'll keep an eye on things. And then, yeah, I'm ready to go. I just want to wind some yarn, and I want to check on my machine one more time. I want to clean it and make sure any fuzzies are out of there. It's been a while since I've done that. and then maybe do a little bit of the lubricant and just get it all set and ready to go and packed up, and get my car packed up. So I got some snacks. We have a little bit of a potluck on Friday night where we all share some snacks and make a nice little dinner and treats and stuff like that. So I'm bringing things for that. And I think I'm all ready to go. Did you want to get down? You want to stay? Okay. She's like the best. Okay. So sweater progress. This week, as I lose this stitch marker, I made some good progress on, I'm fixing this before it gets worse. This is my Tinde ladies sweater. I won't poke you with the needles, I promise. I'll keep it over here, okay? This is my Tinde ladies sweater from Sandnes Garn, from their Sandnes Garn, one of their magazines, one of the recent ones from this winter. And I finally finished the colorwork section. I divided for sleeves and body, and I've got a good little start on the body, which is very, very exciting. It is speeding right along on US 10 needles as this all kind of falls out. Whoops. But that's gonna go fast, and now I'm just, it's in the mindless part of the knitting. So I might bring this with me to Kansas City and just kind of, like if I feel like knitting in the hotel room at night or whatever. But I'm super happy to get the color work done, and I really love how it looks. It's obviously not blocked or anything. It's looking a little bunchy there, but it looks, like when you flatten it out, it looks really nice, and I'm excited. And I did knit a tiny little swatch with both reds and the cream, and then I wet blocked it and soaked it for a long time to make sure that the reds wouldn't bleed into the cream, because that would be terribly sad. I think that's always a smart thing to do, especially with bright colors or a dark color like red or I don't know. It's just good to check for color fastness before you do anything, because if it did bleed a little bit, I would probably just steam block it instead. But I had no problems, which I was super stoked to see. So that means I can, dunk this in the water and do it the right way, spread it all out. And I really love the size. It's just a little bit oversized, but I think it's just right for what I was hoping for. And it'll be ready for next winter and fall, and it'll be so cozy, and I'm very excited to wear this one. I love this different color scheme for me. Very fun. Love the yarn, love how squishy and nice it feels. And so this is a really fun one, and I can't wait to just bust out the body and sleeves and get this one done. Next, I'm very excited to share that I got a lot done on my Crowberry sweater. I think the last video update, I was down here in this section, and I just went for it and finished that whole top and the collar, and I'm so excited about how this turned out. So this is the Crowberry sweater by Hélène Magnússon from the Modern Daily Knitting field guide named Moss. This whole field guide is so beautiful, highly recommend. This is knitted in Lopi, Let Lopi, and I originally was just going to use these two greens with this darker berry color the whole way up, like it kind of shows in the sample. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. So they just used, I think, two greens on top plus the berry color. That was my original plan. My colors are a tiny bit different, but close. Actually, they're very close. And then I saw the sweater I mentioned before on Ravelry with the multiple colors, which just made me open my mind to one more green. And so I changed to the celery green for this section. So it's like the golden green, dark green, the celery green, dark green, and then back to this, and then the berry color throughout. And I love the little bit of depth and interest and like mossiness that the extra green adds in that middle stripe. And I just love this so much. I'm so excited about it. This is the sweater that has a little bit of shaping in the back. So the back is a little bit longer than the front. So it's a little bit more cropped in the front, but I did knit a little extra length because I don't like it too short on me. I kind of want it to still hit at my hips. So I made sure that happened. And I think I picked the right size, the right gauge. I think I got all that just right for the fit I was wanting. I did go down one needle size from what they suggested because I liked this fabric just a little bit better. And I am a loose knitter, so I tend to go down a needle size ish usually, not always, but sometimes. And especially with the Lopi, they do like, I did another Lopi sweater where a lot of people knit this more open and loose on purpose. And this one is that way too. So you don't want it too dense. This kind of provides an airy but still warm fabric. And so I just really like how it looks. I mean, there's little baubles. If you can see, the berries are baubles. And in real life, it is like a nice dark berry that looks a lot like this. And then there's the mossy greens around it and the cute little vines and leaves, and then the cute little collar. Everything turned out great. So I never, not once, ever tried this on as I was knitting it. I just really had faith in the pattern and the gauge, and I felt like I chose the right size, and I think it's good, but maybe I should try it on just to make sure. So let's do that right now. But I'm feeling good about it. I think it's good. And I think I got it on not backwards. We'll see. I think it is good. I think it's good. Whew. It's great. Oh, I love it. I love the color work. I love the little tiny baubles. Okay, let's check the length though. And it is going to be all bunchy. I haven't blocked it, obviously. I think I got it on the right way. Is that the longer part? Okay. So that's where it's hitting. Like still a little bit of a shorter sweater. Like for me, I don't like it like up here, but that's like a good length, I think. And then the back goes a little bit lower. There's some short row shaping that makes it kind of a sloped lower back, which I really like, but I think this is good. Okay, I'm really happy with it. Again, very different colors for me. Very fall. Love the mossy, bobbly berry thing. Love this rust color. And I really like it. Okay, and this one's so close to being done. These sleeves will not take long. I still have 2 balls of Lopi left, so I think I'm good on yarn. I was a little bit worried about that because some of this is from my stash. And I'm also gonna have to do a little bit of helical knitting to blend the sleeves into, I think I put X's on these 2 because these are my 2 that I think are a different dye lot. But I can't, we'll see. I'm still gonna blend them a little bit in, and I think it'll be okay in the end because it's kind of a heathery mix, but hopefully, yeah, you can't see like a line of demarcation. I think we're good though, because it looks really, really close to me. And I do have another skein of this left, like a pretty good chunk of it that I can blend into each sleeve and go down a little bit and then use the rest of this. And then I think I'm good. So yay, that is the Crowberry from the Moss Field Guide. I'm a little behind the whole group that knitted theirs in March, but I am so happy with this. This is so fun. This was so fun to do. The baubles, I will say, did look weird as I was doing them. I think I mentioned this in my last section, but you just have to trust it and keep going, and it blends in and makes this like bobbly good. Like the berries, it works. It like, I don't know. I really do like the second green. So thank you, Carrie or Kari, for showing me your Ravelry page, and yours is even more multicolored than this, but it did give me a good excuse to use that other green, and I'm so happy I did. So yay. That's about it for this week. Thanks for hanging out while I made some progress on my sweaters and packed up for the crank-in in Kansas City. I cannot wait to get there and get started and get back into the whole crank-in thing. It is so much fun. I don't know if it sounds fun, but it is really, really fun, especially this one with all the Dean and Bean people. So I'm really excited to get there and get cranking. And I want to see their demos. I want to learn some new things. I want to make some shorty socks this time. And then they also have like a mock rib you can learn, and all these different things. So I'm excited to get there. I'm also excited to go to Kansas City because it gives me the opportunity to go to IKEA. And if you know me, I like to mix in a little IKEA into my home. Not too much, but you know, here and there. And they have this new collection that I have my eye on. It's called TESAMMANS. And it's these very, very cool color combinations. I just watched a video from the design studio they worked with and how they went about putting all this together. There's a really cool cart. There's a really cool storage container thing that's kind of big. Really cool pot vase set, these colored stripes. There is a really neat clock and this tray set. It's like a throw. It's all really, really good. Pillow covers, it's the whole thing. I like all of it so much. So I'm gonna have to go see if I can see it in person. There's a couple things I saw online that I can pick up. So I might just like do an order to pick up. And now that they're in stock, I can get those pieces at least, but we'll see what they have. They also, I saw, have some of the pre-cut fabric in stock. And you know how I feel about the IKEA pre-cut fabric that has not been available for a long time. It used to be available on rolls or, you know, like in a Joann's or whatever fabric store where you could cut off your own yardage, but that has been years ago and they haven't had fabric like that unless you wanted to buy a curtain set or bedding, which I have done. I made a dress out of IKEA duvet covers. So I'm into this, you know, this is my thing. So I think they have the IKEA pre-cut fabric in stock in Kansas City, and I hope it's still there when I get there because they don't ship it. So I really hope it's there. They have like a yellow floral, it's like yellow and white, and so that's obviously calling my name. They had a black and white, and they also had the green that matches this pillow cover that I got a while back. That's really fun. And then they have the Tesammans stripe color, this new set that that has everything I like. I really hope they have that one because that's the one I really want, and the yellow one. But anyway, stop back next week. I upload a new video every Saturday. Next week will be the Kansas City crank-in recap, plus probably my visit to IKEA, so you can see what I get or what I find or what's in stock or what I pick up. It'll be something. I mean, I'll find something good. I just have to see what they have. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me this week. I think that's all I have to share. Like and subscribe, blah, 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 whatever you want to do. If you like videos like this, I have a whole playlist of videos just like this called Knit With Me. And those are all really fun to watch if you're bored right now. But have a good weekend. Have a good week ahead. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.